Are they already in Chicago? The one and only Leo Biaz. Hey, Leo.
I'm excited to be back, my man. It was 9 days in Vegas. We got stuck in the desert, and we had a little hangover remix out there, man.
I wore a wig to school once, and they said no headgear was allowed.
How did the
Spiderweb
was it
tights.
Obvious that it was a wig?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was having
a terrible
fun.
wig.
See, this is exactly why we have them on the show, and this is what makes them fun.
You're listening to KXVS, the voice of Stockton, 92.1 FM.
Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton? Join Nate Knott on Stockton Alive every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Julie Dameron, local veterinarian for over 20 years. I am so excited about my new radio show, Tales and Tips, on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Voice of Stockton, and KXVS Radio. I will discuss relevant issues affecting animals and pet owners today, how to avoid common problems, and how to extend the quality of life for your cherished companions. As a community advocate, I will also discuss important social issues that affect our city. I plan to showcase organizations and heroes who are doing amazing things to help others. Remember to tune in every Tuesday morning at 10, starting soon.
My name is Josh, and you're listening to KXVS, the voice of Stockton, 92.1 FM. Catch us live on Facebook, YouTube, and the TuneIn app.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
The voice of Stockton and the voice of San Joaquin present Challenge Mode with your host, Ben Sanchez.
Thank you, Gov. Good to see you again, buddy.
Good to see you, Ben.
Yeah, as always, this is Challenge Mode, the only entrepreneur show on Voice of Stockton Radio, KXVS. We're also the voice of San Joaquin. Of course, there's more announcements to come with that as Gov gets that all in place.
2019.
Yeah, 2019, big year for Voice of Stockton next year once we expand throughout the Central Valley. And of course, as always, Challenge Mode normally starts at 6. We're a little behind with technical difficulties, of course. So we'll get right into it. We've got some amazing guests. I hope you guys tuned in before the holiday break, because we had a great entrepreneur panel that you can always check out on Facebook. We had 3 different parts. If you're interested in any of that content, you can always check it out on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, Voice of Stockton, KXVS Radio. But today we have more exciting news and more entrepreneurs that are coming into Stockton, and especially downtown Stockton, which has tons of small businesses for all of the community members to check out. So I'm here with the Downtowner. I'm here with Kevin Gilman, Amy Smith. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I've actually been in your shop a couple times, and just before we get into what the Downtowner is and how it started, I usually ask new people that come on the show, what are your thoughts when you think about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, for me, an entrepreneur is usually somebody that's passionate, hardworking, a touch crazy, and doesn't want to be held by somebody else's rules.
Yeah. For me, it shows a big leap of faith to be an entrepreneur. It also takes a lot of courage because for most entrepreneurs, you're forced to step outside of your comfort zone, and I see a lot of courage in any entrepreneur that I've met.
Right. And why do you think the entrepreneurs are important in a community or any community?
Well, for me, a lot of it is being able to create jobs and support other entrepreneurs and be able to work together with small businesses. And creating a job for a small business is not in the sense of the corporate world where you have a certain job just take shape. Yeah. You're able to give the freedom to let people share their passion and their creativity and be an instrumental part in the business that you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, and I think collaboration is a big part of it. Taking something you're passionate about and sparking an interest to follow passions for other people as well. You know, kind of that leading by example. If one person can have a vision and work really hard to make that dream come true, they can inspire other people to do the exact same thing. And I feel like that's a great role.
Yeah, and I think that's really kind of what's going on in downtown Stockton right now. So let's talk a little bit about kind of, you know, your background, where you're from, and how did all this start with the Downtowner?
Well, I grew up in Ashland, Oregon. From there, I got into the wine industry. I sold wine for a company called Bacchus, and I moved to Bend, Oregon. I've been there for the last 14 years. I came to Stockton about a year and a half ago. My wife's a Stocktonian, so moved down here, lived the married life. Couldn't really find any gainful employment that made me happy. I think that turns into the whole entrepreneurial definition that I gave, and so I just felt like it was time for me to do my own thing, and I walked into the space that we have the Downtowner in now, and I just immediately saw it, and I wrote a business plan in like 2 months.
Wow.
And got it done and just kept moving forward.
That's incredible. And how did you come about to meet Amy?
Amy came on about a month and a half, 2 months ago. As I said before, I believe in playing up to people's strengths, and I personally have a lot of weaknesses, so I always want to look for people that have strengths where my weaknesses lie. And so I needed someone to fill a small role, but at the same time, if I could expand on that position and have someone help with marketing and advertising and all the social media, then it would really be worthwhile. And she is an absolute social media dynamo, and you know, by allowing her to take that over, it kind of plays up to what she's passionate about, and it kind of takes it off my plate, and I can focus on more things that I'm passionate about.
Exactly. No, and that's good. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs do that, right? They kind of fill in those gaps that they know they're not strong in, whether it's business planning or finding a brick and mortar, in this case social media, or anything else, and that's kind of what we're doing here. So Amy, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Boy, well, I've worked in a whole lot of different industries, self-proclaimed Jill of all trades, but my true love has always been food, and no matter what I've done, I've come back to something food related. I've run my own entrepreneurial digital marketing business for the last 4 years.
Wow, okay.
So when I saw the opening at the Downtowner, it really seemed like kismet, like something that I could combine two of my loves and work to hopefully add my skills to the success of the Downtowner. So it was kind of a match made in heaven, in my opinion. Two things I love, able to help out in a role where I'm valued. It's a great combo.
Yeah, and I think that's like the key, right? When you work for someone, you want to have your skill set valued, and you know, you want your passion is going to drive you along, and you both share that, right? You kind of, when you probably met, you shared those same values, and you're like, this is it. I need this person on my team.
Absolutely. You know, I think my first words were, "Can I afford you?"
Something like that, yeah.
You know, but we were able to strike a deal, and you know, I really couldn't move forward without talking about John Burnett, our chef, as well. You know, he's the man behind the scenes back there, and he's got a skill set that neither of us have. You know, and so all three of us working together, and with our man Cruz in the background, kind of jack of all trades, everything just seems to flow, and we gradually are creeping upwards.
So let's talk about that, when that came about. You talk about when you saw the building and you come in and you wrote a business plan in 2 months. How did you come up with the Downtowner? Did you know exactly, like, everything was in your head right away, or how'd that all come about?
Pretty much.
It just was all there, huh? Like, you knew you wanted to do food, you knew...
Well, you know, I'm not the first restaurant to be called the Downtowner. I've seen the name before, and it always stuck with me. It kind of flows off the tongue, but for me, there's something about knowing where a spot is just by hearing the name. And so when you hear the name of the Downtowner, you immediately know you're in downtown.
Right.
And with a name like that, if this recipe is successful, well, we could put it in downtown anywhere if we wanted to.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, you know, I walked in, I saw the space, and looking at a little bit of research in downtown Stockton to run some census numbers, looking at the restaurants around, and I just thought I could fill a need.
And when you're thinking about a restaurant, you know, that's going to be there, are you looking at other places that are there, and you're kind of thinking, well, what could I do different? That
Absolutely.
Might not be. So how is that approach for maybe somebody that's new, that's kind of looking at that? What advice would you give someone that maybe is going to open their restaurant? Like, obviously they're not going to do a business plan in 2 months, and then that's
maybe. in my theory, my advice to give would be to do something that someone else isn't doing, or if you're going to do something that someone else is doing, you have to do it better.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my advice if you're going to, compare yourself to other establishments that are like yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then for Amy, what do you think about when you met Kevin and he's like explaining this idea? Like, what were your thoughts on it when he was first talking about like the downtown and what it was and what he wanted to do?
Well, the interesting thing is when I first walked in, the first thing I noticed was that beautiful green that everyone that's been in the downtowner knows of. I also just had an immediate kind of warm, fuzzy feeling like this was where I was supposed to be. And it wasn't even necessarily to work, but it was just somewhere I wanted to eat and hang out, and it had a good vibe. And then once I got talking to Kevin, it seemed like a good fit right off the bat. And I think we're both happy. But, he's got a talent for picking a good team. And all of us are only as strong as our weakest link. And nurturing the entire team seems to be a big part of what, so far, is bringing us success.
Yeah. How did you meet John? Where'd you meet him?
Craigslist ad.
Really? Tell me about that.
Well, when we first were opening and I put some jobs out there, he answered the ad and came wandering in and asked me a few questions, asked to see the kitchen, wandered around, and he had restaurant written all over him.
Really?
And I just immediately wanted to offer him a job.
Wow, okay.
Meeting him once. And
off of Craigslist.
Yep.
That's cool.
So he was the chef at Valley Brew for about 12 years.
Okay.
And then he's worked at another location for about 11 years before this, outside of the restaurant industry. But, for me, passion and loyalty that's how you're going to grow a team and keep moving forward. And you see somebody that seems passionate about this and they've had 2 jobs in 23 years, I would say that puts them high on that loyalty rank as well,
And when you're talking with John, and did you have an idea of what kind of menu you wanted to do, or did John really come in and help kind of refine that?
I basically created a basic structure to get started, just to get the doors open, because I believe in everybody else's creativity. I may have wrote the business plan, I may have brought this thing into existence, but we don't even know what it is yet. And we're never going to know as long, if we can just unless we just keep building it and keep feeding energy into it. And it takes more than one person, and that's the biggest part of an entrepreneur is you have to be, constantly grinding and constantly moving forward.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to be humble enough to realize that you can't do it alone. And so the only way that you're going to be able to build something is to rely on other people. And if you can rely on their strengths, and if we can all keep growing in what we're passionate about, all of a sudden, in my belief system anyways, we're going to have a business and an entity on our hands that is larger than life, larger than any of us individual.
Yeah. And how about you, Amy? When you're looking at the downtowner and you're putting in, it seems like it's pretty open for creative input, right? And you feel that when you're
Absolutely.
there?
I mean, there's not a special or a new menu item that we don't all taste. It doesn't all get bounced off us. Even naming things sometimes. We've had to veto Kevin before, but just once. But yeah, I've never worked somewhere that had such a collaborative environment. Feedback is always welcome, and I think that's a great thing.
And how long has the Downtowner been open in Stockton?
It'll be 5 months here next week.
Okay, so you're this year.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, July 10th.
July 10th. Wow. And so I'm just gonna go right to some of the great news that you got, because I think this is great to share. And you just found out about this today?
Today.
So let's talk about this story where the record kind of moseys on in the Downtowner, and then you guys have this interesting conversation about what's going on.
Yeah, they walked up. Liz walked up to the counter and said, "We're from the record, and we're here to let you know that you won an award." And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "Well, Stockton voted you best sandwiches and wraps, and for the best to bite."
Yeah.
Yeah, Best Bites 2018.
Excuse me, Best Bites 2018. Yeah. So it was a reader's poll.
Yeah. So then, and then how did that come about? Like, what else was happening with the record? They gave you an award, or they show you something, or
yeah, they gave us a certificate and a sticker to put in the window, and some advertising opportunities in the record to go along with the story.
Mm-hmm. So when all this kind of is within 5 months, did you ever see that? Like when you're like, you know, you've already built the business plan, you've got the team together, everything is working. Did you ever think that that was going to happen? Like within the first 5 months, Stockton Records is going to come in and the people of the city of Stockton are already voting you?
Well, honestly, in my mind, I would already have my third restaurant by now. So.
Oh.
No, you know, I believe in taking everything day by day. You have to wake up, and every day is a new adventure and a new challenge, and the time flies so fast that sometimes you can't keep track of it. And I'm very honored to have an accolade like that within the first 5 months. There's no doubt about it. But there's honestly been no expectations as far as any records or accolades, because we just get up and we just try to be creative and come in and put our best foot forward every day, you know, and hopefully something good comes out of it, and hopefully customers like us, you know. And accolades are great, awards are great, but it's the return customer that's still the best. It's still the number one aspect that we could you know, that's the best trophy we could ask for.
Yeah, and I've been, like I say, I've been in there several times. I've tried different things with you guys, and that's one of the things that I always, you know, not just the good food, but the atmosphere and the people that work there make me continue to come back.
That's excellent. We appreciate that.
And so if you guys haven't tried it, let's talk about some of the things that people can get if they haven't been downtown and they're coming to downtown. What can we expect from the downtown, or like what are some of the key things that are really doing well right now?
Well, not to take a step back and make the question more broad than what you asked. What we do is called Good Mood Food, and what we do that basically it doesn't pigeonhole us into a certain type of cuisine, because we're a collaborative group of creative restaurant geeks, and we like to be able to, you know, exercise whatever creative muscle we have at the moment. But we like to think of it as any food to fit any lifestyle, and so we realize that most people that are dining with us in downtown are working. They're on their lunch break, and people can be a little more health conscious during their work hours, and maybe a little more gluttonous in the evening. So whether you're vegetarian, vegan, you want a salad, you want a soup, you want a sandwich, that's where we're here to help you scratch that itch. Right now, our Cobb salad is still our #1 seller. Our chicken salad sandwich is right behind it, and it's a super fresh, light sandwich. It's super fast, so I think the conveniency of it, you know, the convenience of it is something that plays into effect. Definitely the breakfast burritos.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Those are awesome.
Thank you.
I love it. So I'll tell the audience a story. And I was talking with Kevin and Amy outside of the booth, but I went and we talked about Brandon a lot outside of the booth, and Brandon was the one. He was at Terra Coffee, and he was telling me,
and he was like, "Bro,
yeah," he was like, "Bro, you got to try this burrito." And I was like, "Where?" The Downtowner, because you know, obviously there's not many places you can get a burrito downtown. And so I'm like, okay, where is, you know, 2 blocks up. So I go in there, and I knew this is what I want. Like, I already knew I wanted the burrito. And so I bring it back, and everyone at the Terra Squad, you know, all our awesome employees are like, what are you eating? And I was like, oh, I got this Downtowner burrito. You know, it's literally 2 blocks up. It looks really, it was like, you know, so I just decided to cut it up, give everybody a piece, and they loved this burrito, and it was like the best. And one of the things they said, because you talked about the you know, all the filler and stuff of other places, you know, with rice, potato, and all that, is like it just had a really good flavor and great taste, and it had a lot to offer besides, you know, what you'd normally see in you know, any type of burrito. And so that was what we got at the Terror Squad across the board, and so it just became like a favorite. And so now everyone at Terra is totally aware of, like, you know, what you have to offer at the Downtowner.
That's wonderful. Well, we believe that you know, good food, it just starts with good ingredients, and you know, right here in San Joaquin, we have access to some of the best produce anywhere around in the country. You know, if in restaurants around here, if you're not sourcing for the produce around here, you're doing it wrong. Sorry. But yeah, and you know, all of our eggs are cage free out of Ripon and free range, you know, meats. You know, and so we just try to start with a good product base.
And so when you're going through and new customers are coming in, how do new customers kind of find out about you? I mean, you're gonna have your locals that are just kind of walking by, and how are they finding you?
Oh, that's where Amy comes in.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we've part of the reason Kevin brought me on board was to get some more online presence to attract people. One thing we have found to be by far and most successful is pictures of the food. I can't tell you how many people come in every day. Oh, I saw your soup. I saw your special. I had to have it.
Yeah.
That's huge. Word of mouth is another one. We get someone like happened with you at Terra, brings their lunch back to the office, and then all of a sudden, where'd that come from? You know, it creates a buzz and an interest. We also have the luxury of foot traffic walking right by our storefront.
Right.
And we are baiting them with our sandwich boards, with our specials, you know, so we'll do anything we can to get people in and try the food. And I jokingly tell people, you know, our food may be habit forming, but chances are once they come in, they come back.
And so, what other things on the marketing side, as different strategies, are you working on besides Instagram and Facebook? Do you have other things that you're kind of collaborating with Kevin on?
We do have a few things in the works. You know, some of them are going to come up at a later date, but one thing we did was, or one thing we are trying to do is get connected with our local community. You know, things like the family, we helped out a family recently that lost everything in the campfires.
Right.
The downtowner collected a ton of donations for this family.
I saw that on social media.
Thank you to all of our
customers. I mean, we're beyond humbled by how much they helped out. You know, little things like that can make a huge impact. We try and take part in. You know, we're working with some local artists in downtown Stockton to perhaps use our great green walls as gallery space.
That's very cool.
You know, so just trying different ways to engage with our local community and actually get them part of the downtowner community as well.
And let's talk, because you're also doing a lot with the Stockton Heat. Kind of talk about some of the organizations and how those partnerships work.
Well, that was for me, you know, renovating the downtowner was instrumental with, you know, my father-in-law and brother-in-law. They were there all the time helping me work on the spot. Both big hockey fans, so getting a little partnership with the Stockton Heat was something that was in the works from the beginning. But once I kind of met the guys from the Heat organization, obviously it became a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know, and they're a really great group of guys. It's a great team, great organization, and the arena's right there 5 blocks away from the restaurant. And for me, it was a smart spot to be able to put our marketing dollars into to advertise with, I mean, how many people can go into that. I mean, you can get thousands of people into that, into that arena, and that's only 5 blocks away from the restaurant. You know,
Perfect.
And we get to go see some hockey games.
Yeah, exactly.
Better.
And so, what are with partnerships like that? Do you think and strategize down the road? Like, who is there someone in mind that you have maybe that you haven't reached out to, or maybe there's organizations that don't know about the downtowner that might reach out? Do you think about that, or you guys talk about that a little bit?
Well, I was going to try to get Brad Pitt to hold a sign out on the sidewalk, but he hasn't returned my phone calls yet.
He's tough to get a hold of.
Yeah.
I can't even get a hold of him.
I was trying Tom Hardy too, but no luck there either.
Tom Hardy would be awesome. That would be a great get for the downtowner.
I agree.
You know, personally, I think it goes back to what I was saying is every day you wake up and every day is a new challenge. So being part of a startup right now, looking into the future without it being a huge goal is kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Because we're still just molding and we're still trying to deal with the challenges that we currently have. And I think we have a good end goal, but you have to create the path of how we're going to get there.
Right.
And so I think that I'm open for any ideas for marketing and working with especially the local community in any way I can in the future. But as of right now, I don't really have any immediate goals of what I'll be looking for. You know, just right now I just want to make sure that I support the Heat any way I can because they're supporting us.
Right.
And so we still got a long way to go in this season. And we'll see how it helps us down the line.
Yeah. So you guys do a lot of giveaways too. I always see like all on your Instagram, you know, people that you've got different contests or different things going on. Talk a little bit about that. Like that's community engaging as well.
Well, one thing that's super important to us is our customers. The downtowner wouldn't be anything without them. So something I remember Kevin, when I first started, he's like, hey, we got Stockton Heat tickets, we've got swag, we've got tablets. Let's raffle these off as customer appreciation. And it's been great to give back something to our great customers, and we've got a group of high school kids that come in almost every day.
That's awesome.
And they're wonderful. You know, so we try and make an impact, you know, and hopefully these little tidbits do that and just keep people thinking about the downtowner.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, because, you know, on the big panel that we had several weeks ago, you know, we talked about community involvement and the importance of that, and the importance of not just in small business, but in big organizations. And it sounds like, you know, both of you have already thought about different key things and how that works. And I think it's obviously working with the downtowner. 5 months in, you know, you're getting all these, you know, people to follow you on Instagram, and, you know, obviously the Stockton records come through. But there's other important things that the downtowner is doing as well, which I really wanted to talk more about. And you're doing eco-friendly, you know, utensils and packaging and things. So kind of talk a little bit about this and this whole philosophy for the downtowner.
Well, this was something that's very important to my wife and I moving forward, and looking at a lot of the places in downtown. Especially the restaurants where they don't even give you actual silverware or plates, and everything is plastic and styrofoam containers.
Yeah.
And you look at the Delta and the garbage that's in the Delta. And working in restaurants my whole life, I've been always amazed at how much waste there is in an average restaurant. And even though it costs a lot more money, it was very important to us to do everything compostable and recyclable. We don't do any plastic. The only plastic that we have is the in-house cups, so the cups for the water, but they stay inside, and we rewash them and reuse them. All of our to-go plasticware is made out of cornstarch, including the straws and the lids are made out of cornstarch. All of our to-go silverware is made out of potato starch, and all of our to-go boxes are recycled and compostable.
So, and then when you're looking at that and it in a larger spectrum, do you think more restaurants should be thinking about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think everybody, you know, and I think it's the people that start doing it, that take it in the teeth a little bit in the beginning, because I could definitely cut my costs a lot by going with the other, but I think the more people that step up and support it and use it, the more that the cost of these products will come down.
Yeah, I think, and it's really important. You know, it's and that was something that came to my attention, I think, in a conversation that we were talking about, and because you know, it is when I come in, it's usually just, you know, come in, grab it, and go. You know, and that's kind of the at least the feel of when I'm walking around downtown or running into people on their lunch break. It's just hey, we're gonna go grab something, we're gonna take it. We're not gonna.
I would say 70% of our business is takeout.
So I think this is great, and I think this is really what is a huge thing that separates you from other places, because you do that, and I really appreciate that you do that for, you know, the customers and the businesses, and I think there's just needs to be more awareness. When you're planning this out, and somebody maybe that might want to do that approach. Where do you go for things like that? Like, how do you find out about that? Because there's some people that just don't think about those things.
Oh, you can get through local distributors. I get all the compostable to-go boxes at Smart Food Service on Pacific Avenue. I get all the potato starch ware from U.S. Foods. I get all the cornstarch ware from U.S. Foods. So there is ways that they can get them delivered right to your doorstep.
That's perfect. And so now we'll kind of go back to I kind of want to go back to the menu, because we talked just a couple of key things, but other thing, you know, you talk about the salads, we talked about the burrito, because the burrito is awesome. Had the French dip, which is fantastic. When you're looking at a menu, what are you gonna do? Is it gonna stay the same for the rest of the year? Are you thinking of creating something new, or
well, probably for the rest of this year, because we just changed it. So we've been open for 5 months, and we're on a third menu already. So we deal with a lot of, obviously, seasonality, because we try to use everything really fresh and local. And so one of the most popular sandwiches that we had was the caprese grilled cheese, where we did local heirloom tomatoes, mozzarella and pesto and balsamic reduction, and we did it on the Genova bakery sourdough. And it was widely popular, and we had to break everybody's hearts when we
Yeah.
couldn't get the heirloom tomatoes anymore.
Yes.
But these are good things, because when we do the relaunch next year, when they come in, it's going to be great. And so there's always going to be a seasonality to the menu.
Yeah. And what do you think about, Amy, when you're looking at this across the board and you're kind of involved in all this? Like, what are your thoughts? Because you're obviously, you seem to be a foodie as well, and you're looking at this. How do you, when you're talking with Kevin about all this, what are your thoughts on those things?
I always love food conversations because seeing like all of our backgrounds and mindsets and approaches, we come up with some pretty interesting ideas. So that part's always exciting. And I'm not going to lie, I look forward to tasting those new ideas too. You know, we've mentioned it before, but John is just incredibly talented in the kitchen. So new menus, bring them on. The most stressful part of my day is just having to write it on the board, to be honest. We all get so excited about new food and new menu items that, you know, we love the challenge of it.
Yeah, and you guys do soups too, because there's not a lot of places that do soups downtown.
Every day.
Let's talk about the soups. Those are popular, right?
There are more and more people are finding out that we're doing soups, and so they are getting more and more popular. Absolutely, especially with the cold weather we've had lately.
Right. So what are you guys offering soup wise?
Well, John's famous clam chowder every Friday, because no one's doing clam chowder Fridays in downtown. But other than that, we're cycling around to whatever the fresh produce we can get. We get some great. Today's soup was a roasted red pepper and potato. Yesterday we had a tomato bisque. We've had butternut squash bisque. We've had a smoked tomato bisque. We've had
black bean, chicken noodle.
Wow. Yeah. And then I saw on Instagram you've got and you brought it back a few times already. Is this mac and cheese?
Yeah. Oh, we've been running for the last 3 days.
It has? Yeah. So I haven't had this, but to talk about this, the popularity of this thing. I mean, who's coming in for this?
It's a cold day food, and so that's what we try to, especially with. It's definitely a chicken noodle day, and sometimes it can be as easy as that, you know. Right. And that's why it's fun to give people the creativity and the freedom to come up with stuff, you know. And the mac and cheese is definitely the epitome of comfort food.
Awesome.
You know, we're doing baked mac and cheese, the jalapeno and ham in a cast iron skillet, so it's super hot.
Oh God, that sounds good.
Melts, like firecracker. You can't eat it; you're gonna burn yourself. You know.
Yeah, and then the cool thing I noticed when I come in is you have really great options. So, you know, when I got, you know, a sandwich or any of your items on the menu, you do the veggie sticks, or you can get something a little different. But you always seem to have the veggie sticks first, which is a great healthy option, because I'm always thinking, oh, it's probably going to come with fries or something like that. And you actually, I think, have a charge for if they wanted fries, right?
Correct.
Or onion rings?
Fries.
Yeah, fries. Okay. So, but what are some of the smaller things? Like if someone's not looking for something really large for lunch, or something a little smaller, what else do we have at the downtown?
We can have we have vegan hummus with veggie sticks. You can get with some feta cheese if you're not vegan. Mediterranean orzo salad if you want a little pasta salad. You got a deviled egg potato salad.
Yeah.
Just our little side salad is really popular for people that's just looking for a little bite. Because we do a vegan house-made dressing, champagne vinaigrette.
Yeah. Does any of that sound appeasing, Gov? I mean, because you're the vegan. I mean, you're the
vegetarian.
The vegetarian guy.
Yeah, no, I think all of that sounds great. In fact, Taylor says, "Hey, I was just there today with Nora. Those fries were amazing."
Yeah, Taylor, and we just talked about Taylor too.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
But,
Taylor's beverage scented candles.
I think that we need more restaurants like that. I mean, you know, like I heard about a few years back in I think it was Contra Costa County somewhere, or wherever, it might have been in Vallejo out there, but somebody had opened like a fast food. It can be good. You can get it quick.
I think that's one of the keys, and you know, Gov's always. I mean, you're always going out and getting and looking for veggie burritos. He's always looking in the area, so that's what I'm telling. You know, and I'm bringing you guys in to talk about the downtowner to make, you know, just it's more awareness. And when you talk about awareness, Instagram's growing, Facebook's growing. This award's obviously going to help. Nice. And I just want to thank you guys for having that in downtown, because we just don't have anything really like that. You know, we have other things, but you definitely stand out, and it's definitely really good. We talked in the conversation about artists. Talk a little bit about what you envision collaborating with artists and coming into the downtowner, because we have so many in Stockton. There's a lot of talent out there.
We have a lot of them, and a lot of them are busy. You know, a lot of them have full schedules. But we've...
Well, it was something we started the conversation with Saul Cerna, one of our local artists.
Awesome.
And
right at the Heritage Center.
Yeah, and he had some great work that was just, it really piqued our interest. And I mentioned to Kevin, we've got these big, huge, beautiful walls. I mentioned maybe getting some local artists to showcase their work would be not only great for the local artists, but also great for us. And so we're talking with a few. It's in early stages yet, but it's definitely something we'd love to see is some local art on our walls.
No, I think that
for sure.
I think that's great, and especially Saul. He's so talented. He's part of the Mexican Heritage Center, right above Terra Coffee. He's got his own studio, and he's got incredible work. And such a network of wonderful artists here that you could totally reach out to. We have Stockton Art Lab just right kitty corner here from the radio station. They do, of course, things for the kids every Saturday. $5. You come and bring your kids and do that. But they have. You have such a wide selection, so I think this is great for the downtown, for you to, again, you talk about collaboration in your community, and this is just one of those great things.
Absolutely. No, we look forward to it.
So what's coming up next year? Is there anything you can kind of tease with us for next year for the downtowner that's coming up? Anything at all that might be in the works or not yet?
3 more locations.
3 more locations, obviously.
The Gov's got it.
Yeah.
Because we need look. I love it. I love it downtown. I think it's great. And we had talks even going back months in last couple of years about how our community is missing this kind of spot. And
yes.
Now we got one downtown, so we need one up on Hammer Lane. We need one at by March Lane somewhere, or let's put a few more out there.
So the downtowner we call Hammer Time.
Yes.
Hammer Towner.
Yeah. Hammer Towner. There you go.
Hammer Towner.
Yeah, I would say coming up for the next year, one of the big aspects that we have going is just the expansion of our beverage program. And we'll be, hopefully soon be starting to feature some beer and wine selections, and a little bit later hours to, be able to pair some of these beers and wines with our food items. We haven't advertised much yet, but I have been involved with the quartermaster sommeliers for about the last 15 years, and I have been working as a sommelier at a golf resort in Bend, Oregon before moving here. So it'd be kind of fun to get back into wine and be able to share some of the knowledge that I've picked up in food and wine pairings, and be able to pop some corks in the downtown.
Would be awesome. Yeah, I think so. Later time.
We're hoping by the end of January.
Okay. That sounds good. How about you, Amy? Any thoughts, any ideas for the future of Downtowner?
Well, in addition to 5 more locations, I think it's just reminding ourselves that it's a marathon and not a sprint. And, like Kevin said, showing up every day with just making that day better than the one before. The upgrade to the beverage offerings is very exciting. And I think that's got a lot of potential and possibilities for us at the Downtowner.
Yeah.
It's most exciting news we've had other than the Best Sandwich and Wrap Award this week.
Yeah, of course. And would the Downtowner ever do pop-up events? Would you guys ever show up at like Stock Market or things like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right now it's more of I would say more a question of manpower.
Yeah.
So as we're a startup and a growing business, and it's getting enough work for the people that we currently have, and as it moves forward, how do we free up our space to be able to do pop-ups and extra events? We are fortunate to be able to pick up a couple of catering gigs, every other week or so, especially in the Elks building where we're at. We can do a lot of events within the building there.
Okay. Do you guys you do cater though?
We do.
Is that an option? Okay, great. So for people that are looking for great food or catering options, obviously the Downtowner has a Facebook page, so you can check them out at the Downtowner. And then what's your Instagram handle? It's
the Downtowner Stockton.
The Downtowner Stockton. So you can contact them. You have a website too?
We do. Thedowntowner.net.
Downtowner.net. You can always reach out. Now, where are you located downtown? I know it's the Elks building, but
40 North Sutter Street. So we're in the Elks building, right across the parking lot from the Crest Law building, and right on the side street. So right on Weber and San Joaquin is just the city building.
Yeah.
So we're right around the corner from the main entrance of the big glass front of the city building.
And so, you guys are open 7 to 3?
We're open 8 to 3
8 to
Monday
3.
through Friday and 10 to 3 on Saturday for the moment. As
Mm-hmm.
the beverage offerings expand, so our new hours will most likely expand as well.
One thing we should mention on Saturdays too, every Saturday at the Downtowner is Salute to Service Saturdays.
Oh, okay.
So veterans, firefighters, EMS,
Mm-hmm.
police officers, any first responders can come in and get 15% off their meal.
Oh, wow. That's
every
good.
Saturday.
Perfect. So every
Yeah.
Saturday, 10 to 3, veterans and EMTs and all of them can come in 15% off.
Police, fire.
Police, fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's great. That's just another thing that's great for the weekend, right? Because sometimes we think in Stockton we go downtown, you know, we're there Monday through Friday. We don't think about coming back on the weekend because we think maybe nothing's open. So that's great that you guys are open on the weekends to kind of serve the...
On Saturday. We're
the
closed on
community.
Sunday.
Yeah, you're closed on Sunday. So any... obviously, you can contact them through any of those, Facebook, Instagram, and they got a website as well, downtowner.net. If you want to reach out to them, they also do catering. And so it's great. Thanks for coming on. I mean, this is awesome. Like I say, another great spot that...
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, another great spot in downtown Stockton that's relatively new this year, but it's growing at leaps and bounds. And, of course, we're looking forward to those next 4 or 5 downtowners opening up in Stockton.
Well, we really just need to especially give a big thank you to Stockton, and thank you so much for the last 5 months and welcoming us with open arms and enjoying what we're doing, you know. And, you know, that being said, we are user-friendly too. So if you have any requests, leave them on social media, and we will try to accommodate them with a special.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah. Any requests, Gov? What do you think?
Ooh, well, you already veggie burrito. I gotta try it. You know, if you're passing by this way, you can just throw one at me.
They cater.
Bam!
But they cater for one.
But like,
see why not?
Yeah, I guess I gotta check it out because I don't want to sit, put my foot in my mouth and suggest, how about something you already do? So, but I'm excited. I have been hearing about it, and but I'm glad you came in because really, like, the way you describe it to me has piqued my interest. I mean, I don't know if everybody has their own take on it. So they're like, this is a cool new place with great food. But I mean, listening to the way you describe it, I mean, I just it's right up my alley, and I'm definitely gonna try it. So.
Well, and that's why they call it good mood food. It appeases to all kinds of people from all walks of life. So I think this is fantastic. It's been great for us. It's been great for the Terror Squad, and everyone I talked to. I brought my mom in. She thought it was fantastic because she loves French dip, and so everyone I meet, I was like, hey, if you're ever downtown, just swing through the Downtowner. I mean, if you're looking for something, that's within. I think you guys have a great budget. And for me, and for you guys have all different kinds of stuff. There's nothing on that menu that I mean, there's still stuff on that menu I want to try that I haven't even. I'm stuck on the burrito. I'm stuck on certain things, but I'm trying to try a little something different every time I go there. So of course, if you're in downtown Stockton, you're looking for something to grab, you can get it. And of course, there's some cool stuff down the road that Kevin and Amy haven't talked about. We'll wait until that time comes for them to push that out, and I'm really excited for it because I think it really could change, what's going on with people that are in this mode of, I got, I'm on lunch, I only have a certain amount of time, and I got to grab stuff really fast. Where can I go? So check out the Downtowner. We've got all the links in the description. You can look them up on Instagram and Facebook, and of course,
Sutter and Weber, right there.
Sutter and Weber. And we thank you guys for coming on and being a part of the community radio station. You guys come back anytime. Come back and show us some food.
Oh, yeah.
You can bring in some food, and we can show that.
Yeah, I actually didn't know we had cameras. I didn't know I could show food on the radio, so now that we do.
Yeah, you can
do some tasting.
Now they'll get smell-o-vision and
some
tasting.
tasting. Yeah, and I think that'd be great. So yeah, thanks for coming on. And
that's a new feature on your show now.
It is.
Ben. If you
I know for
bring your goods. Yeah.
Yeah, bring the goods.
Bring the goods.
Bring the goods.
Show them off.
Show them off. Show off the
Feed me,
goods.
Seymour.
There you go. So of course, you're listening to Challenge Mode. I'm Ben Sanchez, Governor Don. We're here with the Downtowner, Amy Smith, Kevin Gilman. Thank you so much for being a part of this and coming on.
Thank you so much.
And
thanks for having us.
Thanks for all the stuff that you're doing in downtown Stockton. It's awesome.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for appreciating it.
Yeah, and of course you can always catch us Wednesday at 6. We're gonna always have and feature more entrepreneurs coming on. Our Instagram is @ChallengeMOD3. And of course, we also have the same user ID for Facebook. So if you haven't, thanks for all the followers on Instagram, but we also have a Facebook page as well. And we'll see you next time on The Voice of Stockton, KXVS Radio. Thanks for tuning in.